Breaking right now, video into the Channel 3000 Alert Center shows a high-speed chase across multiple cities in our area. We'll have a live report.
And today, founders of the Lion of Judah Rastafari Church will be in court. We'll tell you why now at 6.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday, June 18th. A very busy morning. We have a lot to get to, and it's feeling a little summer-like out there, which is something we haven't felt in a while there,
Finally.
Hattie.
Yeah, if you step out the door, you'll probably notice just a little bit more humidity, so it doesn't feel very chilly this morning. We've had some issues with fog already, but they are really dissipating pretty quickly across southern Wisconsin. Here's the view from the WISC-TV Skycam. Normally, we're looking at the sunrise to the east, but I have it pointed to the west, where we did have a little fog showing up earlier this morning. You can see most of that has already dissipated. Visibilities have improved for our viewing area. They're better than 2 miles in all spots. Still in southeastern Wisconsin and parts of northern Illinois, though, there is some pretty thick fog, so be aware of that if you're traveling this morning. A few light sprinkles showing up on the radar map west of Madison. These will likely not hold together very long this morning. Our best chance for rain comes this afternoon into this evening. So later on today, there is a chance for showers and a few thunderstorms. Highs will reach the upper 70s, but no severe weather is expected for southern Wisconsin. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. No issues, which is great news to report right now. Travel on the Beltline still looking pretty good, and in the downtown areas. Not a whole lot happening to slow you down yet this morning. Again, that fog situation is improving for Dane County.
We're kind of getting into that sweating season again, which I'm kind of like,
The 80s are in the forecast in quite a few days, too.
You guys, why don't we call it summer, not sweating season?
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but it means you have to be at the pool or the lake all the time.
That's true.
It's okay. Summer's a very short season here.
Very true.
All right, Hattie, thank you.
You're welcome.
6:02 your time now. We are following breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center of a high-speed chase overnight.
Multiple police departments responded to the chase, spanning several communities in our area. Keely Arthur is live where the chase ended in Fitchburg this morning. Good morning, Keely.
Good morning. Well, that chase started in Monona, ended here in this quiet residential area in Fitchburg. There was a heavy police presence in this cul-de-sac about an hour ago, but police have since cleared this scene. Let's take this exclusive video sent in to News 3 Now by a viewer. The chase began at a Walmart in Monona on Broadway, then continued into Madison down the Beltline. Police also spotted in the area of Post Road and Fish Hatchery Road. The chase ended almost an hour later on Greencrest Court in Fitchburg. That's where I am. It's just south of McKee. Now, Madison and Fitchburg police both assisted with this. Monona PD handling the case. We are working with them to learn more details, including if any arrests were made and why this started in the first place. We'll bring you those updates when we have them. Back to you.
Keely Arthur with that breaking news this morning. Thank you, Keely.
It is 6:03 right now. A woman is still at large this morning after a couple stole a car in Janesville. Janesville police were sent to Hub Auto just before 5 last night. The suspects came in a stolen car and took one of the dealer's cars for a test drive. Police say the dealership learned this was a fraud and that the car was stolen. The thieves drove south to the 600 block of West Sunny Lane, and that's where police arrested the man, but they still need help finding the woman you see in this picture right here. The couple is being investigated for multiple stolen cars. Anyone who sees her should call the Rock County Communications Center.
Also in Rock County, police say a Janesville man is dead after a driver fell asleep at the wheel and caused a 3-car crash this week. It happened just before 4 in the afternoon yesterday on Highway 14 in the township of Janesville. Officers say the driver of a Chevy Silverado appeared to be falling asleep when he collided with a motorcycle and pushed that vehicle into another car. The 68-year-old man on that motorcycle had to be taken to the hospital, but later died. Officers say he was not wearing a helmet. Police say the driver of that truck will be cited for inattentive driving.
New this morning, a 66-year-old woman is dead after a crash in Iowa County. Kathy Daly was driving on U.S. Highway 18 near the village of Montfort a little after 6 yesterday morning when she was hit by another car. Daly was transported by UW Med Flight to Madison, where she later died from her injuries. The driver of the other car was treated by medical emergency responders at that scene.
Back in Madison, police say they're seeing an increase in the number of road rage incidents inside the city. Officers count 3 different cases, all involving guns, in the span of a single week. No one's been hurt, and police say there is no reason to believe these incidents are related to one another. Officers add, even though 3 in a week is unusual, road rage incidents are nothing new and usually go unreported.
A Madison man is facing charges this morning for threatening someone with a gun from his porch. Police say it happened around 5 yesterday on Park Heights Court near Elver Park on the west side. No one was hurt. Officers arrested Mike Mann for disorderly conduct while armed.
Police in southeastern Wisconsin are investigating the death of a 5-year-old boy who was dropped off at a hospital with gunshot wounds. Kenosha police got a call from hospital staff after 2 people left the boy at the door. The victim's grandfather, Curtis Cannon, tells our news partners in Milwaukee that his sons were the ones to drop the little boy off at the hospital, but that the shooting was an accident.
Almost 6:06 this morning, a Rastafarian church in Madison could find out today whether they're being evicted from their building. The owner of the building on West Mifflin, housing the Lion of Judah, filed for an eviction after the church's founders were arrested on drug charges. 39-year-old Jesse Schwark and 23-year-old Dylan Bangert say they use and distribute marijuana as part of their religion. But the city's attorney sent them a cease and desist letter in April saying there was no documentation to support their claim as a legitimate church. That eviction hearing is scheduled for 9:30 this morning.
More local news now. We each have our own unique DNA, and soon your property can too. There's a new technology at the Dodge County Sheriff's Office that could help them get stolen items back to their rightful owners. It's from the company Protect DNA. It's basically an adhesive you can wipe on your stuff. Then when it dries, it leaves a microscopic code that's specifically assigned to you.
It's a very useful tool for us to say, no, you didn't buy this at a store. It's not your friends. This is the victims, because it has their DNA on it, that has a unique identifier on it that is specific to them.
Really interesting idea here. The technology is free for the sheriff's office and almost free for you. You just have to pay for shipping. If you'd like to sign up, you have to go to the company's website. That's protectdna.com. There's a link to it up right now over on channel3000.com.
All right, 6:07 this morning, and still ahead for us this morning. The red bee cycles around the city are getting switched out today. We'll tell you all about their new replacements, the e-bike.
And there are some chances of rain today. Things looking a little cloudy. Hattie can tell us exactly what to expect in the forecast. It's coming up when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Good morning from the News 3 Now. First Alert backyard weather patio. We're dealing with pretty muggy conditions this morning and also a little bit of fog. We'll talk about that fog in just a second. Wanted to update you on the radar map though this morning. You may be seeing a few sprinkles west of Madison. There will be chances for rain in the forecast today, although best chance holding off until a little bit later on this afternoon. Those sprinkles are part of a wider pattern, a broken line of showers and isolated thunderstorms that is moving through the upper Midwest. These are in response to a pretty weak cold front that will be sinking southward through the state today. So there is that chance a little bit later on. We did have mostly clear skies on my way into work this morning, but already pretty cloudy here on the west side of town. And you can see a lot of cloud cover off to the west as well. So we're going to turn cloudy pretty quickly this morning and then stick with quite a few clouds through the rest of the day. We did have some fog earlier here on the west side of town, but that has lifted. Visibility is improving in most spots, although there is a dense fog advisory for parts of northeastern Illinois. So if you're headed towards Chicago this morning, be aware of the fog situation. Here's a look at visibilities that are currently showing up across the region. Again, better than 2 miles for our viewing area, which is great news. Although Waukesha and Milwaukee are still dealing with some pretty thick fog this morning. So that fog is impacting southeastern Wisconsin as well. Temperatures are in the 50s and even 60s. One of the warmer mornings for us. 60 in Platteville, 62 in Prairie du Chien, 57 here in Madison. Our dew points are not terribly high, but they're pretty close to the temperature. So that's why we're seeing that fog this morning. They will creep up a little bit, so you may notice an uptick in the humidity just a little bit later on this afternoon. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. Again, pretty quickly clouding over this morning. Temperatures from the 50s going through the 60s, with those chances for rain then developing after lunchtime, especially north of Madison. That front sinks through the area and brings a chance for rain across all of southern Wisconsin through the afternoon and evening time frame. Temperatures will hit highs in the upper 70s today. The clouds are likely going to hang around tonight, and there's a chance for some showers or even a few thunderstorms even as we head into Wednesday morning. Your extended forecast then has temperatures that will cool down a little bit for the middle of the week with highs in the low 70s. Again, still a chance for rain Wednesday. Thursday looks dry and pretty nice with a high of 74. And it looks like we will heat up starting this weekend. Lots of 80s in the forecast, right on time because Friday is the first official day of summer. Here's a look at your traffic report. We'll send it over to Josh Tim with all the details.
Yeah, it is a quiet start on the Beltline. No major delays showing up quite yet in either direction. Other roads here in Dane County not looking too bad either. Just a few brake lights on Verona Road approaching the Highway PD intersection from the north and southbound lanes. No delays downtown. Plan on things picking up over the next hour or so. And other main routes leading into the Madison area, they're moving at the usual speeds with no major issues. Your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Josh, thank you, and Hattie, thank you as well. Looks like a good day for a bike ride, and Madison is known as one of the most bike-friendly cities in the country, and you now might be able to call it one of the best places to take a spin on an electric bike.
There's big news, folks. Starting today, B-Cycle is swapping out their red pedal bikes for e-bikes at their 45 stations around Madison. The bikes can go up to, get this, 17 miles an hour on the electric setting, but you can always turn it off and just ride it like a regular 3-speed bike. B-Cycle executives say they hope it will get more commuters out of the car and onto 2 wheels. The e-bike should be up and running by 11 this morning.
E-bikes are great. They allow people to go further, faster, allow people who don't feel strong enough to bike to feel confident, and it really opens it up when it's bike share because it's so much more affordable.
If you're interested in taking a spin on an e-bike, it costs just $5 for a half hour, and yearly and monthly memberships are also available.
Have you ever tried an e-bike before?
I have not. Keely was talking about this yesterday because she rode on one of them, and she says they're very easy to ride with that little extra bit of a push. Because I was wondering, like, is it completely electric powered? But what it is like when you use it, it kind of gets you going and kind of helps you along. So it's kind of neat.
I think this will help get folks who might be afraid of biking or not into biking, give it a try.
Well, especially for a little bit of a longer distance too.
Right.
You know, I know even the Madison mayor, she's a big instigator of trying to get more people to ride public transportation and biking and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be really good going forward for Madison.
Exciting update on that program.
There you go.
All right, 6:15 your time now. Chris Reese is joining us this morning with some summer-like weather finally on the way.
But those higher temps could bring some storms with them too. We'll have all of that coming up when News 3 Now This Morning continues. Stay with us.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. We're able to peek in on Henry Vilas Zoo. We've seen the polar bear enjoying the pool this morning. It'll be a pool day through the morning hours, but this afternoon, be aware there is a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms. So maybe not the best. You want to keep an eye on the radar before you head to the pool later on today. Let's take a look at the radar map this morning. Not a whole lot happening here in Madison. Been watching a few light sprinkles that haven't really moved much over the last couple of hours, but there may be some sprinkles occurring in southwestern Wisconsin. Better chance for the entire area, again, as I mentioned, to get wet later on this afternoon. In fact, here's that probability of precipitation. It ticks up a little bit for the afternoon and evening hours. So scattered showers, a few rumbles of thunder possible, but no severe weather is expected. Here's a look at your day planner temperatures. We're talking temperatures already climbing into the 70s by lunchtime. So a quick warm up today, mid to upper 70s with clouds this afternoon. There will be a chance for a few showers or even some thunderstorms later on today. That extended forecast then has temperatures that are going to warm up as we head towards the upcoming weekend. We have 70s through the week with a lingering chance for rain on Wednesday. But then as we head towards the weekend, some 80s on the map, Chris. So it really is looking like it's going to heat up. And you're going to talk about how things will change for us.
Yeah, I know. It's been a very long time since we've had, what, an 84 in the forecast? Those are good numbers right there.
5 days in a row with 80s.
I have a sunshine at that, too, or the 80s. And so, Hattie, what I've been looking at is the long-term pattern and what that means for us. So I want to go ahead and show you guys how that long-term pattern will be changing by first starting out and looking at what we've seen at June so far. We've seen a lot of these days with temperatures that were above average and then much more days with temperatures that were below average going through June. I mean, Father's Day was 9 degrees below average as a whole. This has been because the jet stream has been well south of us. It's kept a lot of that warmer air locked up across the southern half of the country. Meanwhile, cooler air from Canada has been influencing us. But this is getting ready to change, folks. As colder air works its way over the western half of the country, we're going to watch warmer air build in across the eastern half of the country. And that's ultimately going to be the theme going through not maybe just the next week, but perhaps the next couple of weeks. So over the next 10 days, watch how our temperatures come up. Again, we are talking mid-80s potentially by the end of our own forecast period. But then the Climate Prediction Center sees that as well. Cooler than normal temperatures across the west. Meanwhile, warmer than normal temperatures across the eastern half of the country. We put this into motion for the next 2 weeks and watch how the warmer than normal temperatures really begin to build over the eastern half of the country. That does include us in Wisconsin with a decent probability of warmer than normal temperatures going through the end of the month and into July. What we'll also have to watch for, though, is the potential for above normal precipitation. You get the heat, you get the humidity, and you get the jet stream the way it was, and you also have more storm systems that will work its way through our part of the world. So look for the rain chances to increase going through time as well. We put this forward into the next 2 weeks, and watch, it's the northern half of the country that will have the probabilities of seeing above normal precipitation. Granted, they're not the greatest probability, but nonetheless, that threat is there as we become a little bit more warm and a little bit more humid as well. Oftentimes, when you get warm in the southeastern part of the country, we call that a southeastern ridge and weather. What that does is that sends a lot of moisture up our way. So if it hasn't been humid yet, it will be.
Boy, I feel like I learn something new every day from Chris Reese.
Every day.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I will appreciate that.
We appreciate the knowledge.
All right, anytime. I'll
Thank you,
just keep it
Chris.
up here.
All right, still ahead for us this morning. President Trump is set to officially kick off his 2020 campaign for his second term today.
And a contractor involved in the Sun Prairie explosion last summer is part of another drilling mistake here in Madison. More local news is coming up on News 3 Now this morning.
Right now, a contractor involved in the Sun Prairie explosion last summer is involved in another drilling mistake in our area.
And a high-speed chase involving Madison, Fitchburg, and Monona police ends here in this cul-de-sac. Details ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on a very busy Tuesday, June 18th. We have a number of local breaking news stories to get to this morning. But first, kind of summer-like out there this morning.
We are looking at a rather humid day ahead. Hattie's outside without the jacket. What?
I know. I think this might be the first time this season. We had to wait till mid-June to go outside without the jacket in the morning, but it feels pretty nice outside early today. Let's take a live look outside in Platteville this morning. A lot of clouds there, a little bit of a haze in the atmosphere as well. You'll notice an increase in the humidity when you step out the door this morning. That has resulted in some patchy fog from time to time, but mainly affecting the southeastern corner of the state right now. Visibilities have improved for the remainder of the area, but there's still some pretty dense fog in southeastern Wisconsin and northeastern Illinois. Doppler track this morning showing you just a few showers continuing to impact the southwestern corner of the state. Not a widespread activity at this time, but there is that potential for some showers and even a few thunderstorms later on this afternoon and this evening for the entire area. Overall, though, today not a bad day at all, with temperatures climbing into the upper 70s this afternoon. Again, that chance for rain mainly later this afternoon into this evening. Let's get a look at your traffic maps this morning. There is an incident to tell you about on Stoughton Road. There's an accident right after Signal Call Road, so you may see some delays starting to form there. This is on the northbound side of Stoughton Road, and that typically gets pretty busy within the next hour. No other issues on the Beltline or in and around Dane County to report right now. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, yeah, Barrett's really enjoying that pool, like I think a lot of people will be doing later today.
Love it, yeah, and especially going forward. We have some real summertime temps in the upcoming forecast.
Can't blame
All right, we'll see you in just a little bit. Hattie, thank you.
Sounds good.
6:28 your time now. We start this half hour with 3 things you need to know to start your Tuesday.
President Trump is set to officially launch his re-election campaign later today. He'll hold a rally tonight in Florida. The campaign reportedly fired some of its pollsters after numbers were leaked showing the president trailing behind Democrat Joe Biden. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is ordering 1,000 additional troops to the Middle East as tensions continue to rise with Iran. Leaders there announced earlier this week it's just days away from exceeding its cap on its stockpile of enriched uranium. That would be a violation of the Iran nuclear deal. The Pentagon has accused Iran of attacking 2 oil tankers near the Persian Gulf, which Iran denies.
Back in Wisconsin, police in the southeastern corner of the state are investigating the death of a 5-year-old boy who was dropped off at the hospital with gunshot wounds. Kenosha police got a call from hospital staff after 2 people left that boy at the door. The victim's grandfather, Curtis Cannon, tells our news partners in Milwaukee that his sons were the ones to drop off the little boy at the hospital, but that the shooting was an accident.
Breaking now in the Channel 3000 Alert Center, a police officer is dead following an armed robbery at a popular bar in Racine. Police say off-duty officer John Hetland saw the armed robbery at Teaser's Tavern and decided to take action. Hetland was a 24-year veteran of the Racine Police Department. Kenosha County investigators are asking anyone with information to call them. No arrests have been made yet.
More breaking news back in Dane County this morning with video just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center of a high-speed chase across multiple cities.
That chase started in Monona and ended in Fitchburg, and that's where we find our Keely Arthur live this morning with the very latest. Keely?
Good morning. That chase ended here in this quiet community in Fitchburg off McKee Road. Police cleared this area about an hour and a half ago. The chase started at 2, police confirming to us that it began at the Walmart in Monona off Broadway. Now let's take this viewer video. It's exclusive to News 3 Now. It shows the chase which continued into Madison down the Beltline. Police also spotted in the area off Post Road and Fish Hatchery Road as well. The chase ended almost an hour later on Greencrest Court in Fitchburg. That's where I am right now. Now, Fitchburg and Madison police assisted on this case. Monona PD is taking the lead. I just got off the phone with them. They were unable to give any additional updates, including if any arrests were made. They said they are investigating and still very busy. We'll keep you updated here and on channel3000.com.
All right, Keely Arthur reporting for us this morning. Thank you, Keely.
In other news this morning, a subcontractor hired by Bear Communications bored into a water line yesterday. That's the same company that hired the subcontractor who hit a natural gas main, causing the downtown Sun Prairie explosion last summer. We're still working to determine the name of the subcontractor that bored into the iron pipe Monday, but Madison Water Utility confirms they were hired by Bear. It happened around 4 p.m. on North Shoreman Avenue outside Shabazz City High School. And while they weren't on scene to know exactly what went wrong, Madison Water Utility crews came to patch things up, saying it's not every day this happens.
Not very common. It happens every once in a while, not too often, but it does happen.
Well, you know, our crews are always ready to respond when something happens. You know, it's never our favorite thing to respond to something that maybe could have been avoided, but that's certainly our job and our responsibility to get that water shut off whenever anything breaks.
The water utility says this kind of thing happens at least a few times this summer, and something similar happened last week outside of La Follette High School, although they couldn't say at the time what company that was. We have reached out to Bear Communications, but have not yet heard back.
New this morning, schools are becoming more and more interactive with new technology, but research is questioning how effective it is in teaching kids how to read. Wisconsin Public Radio is reporting on a study that found fourth graders here in Wisconsin who used tablets in class had reading scores that were 9 points lower on a standardized test than those who didn't use those tablets. That equates to about a year's worth of learning. The negative effect of technology on learning wasn't as strong with eighth graders, though, and overall, results were mixed. Data used only testing for reading and math.
Teachers and staff at a Madison elementary school are asking the Board of Education to address staffing for special education students. In a letter sent to members of the Madison School Board of Education, staff at Lowell Elementary say they're concerned about the lack of resources available for students with special needs. They say basic safety needs are going unmet and that they're not able to provide the legally required special education support for kids with disabilities. One special education teacher who wants to stay anonymous for fear of retaliation says this isn't just a concern from teachers there.
We were struggling this year with the appropriate amount of support for kids that had safety concerns, that had significant disabilities, kids that have significant behaviors that needed a lot more than what they could get.
The Madison School District responded to our request for comments, saying that staff are put in schools based on a need of the number of students. And while the school will have 11 fewer students with special education needs, no cuts are being made at this point. They're just moving pieces around. The district says it will continue to monitor student enrollment to determine any future cuts for next year.
There is a bipartisan effort at the state capitol this morning to expand the forgivable loan program for teachers of color. The Minority Teacher Loan Program has seen a drop in the number of loans awarded since eligibility rules changed back in 2015. Right now, a teacher has to agree to teach in Milwaukee in a high-demand field and receive high-performance ratings in order to have 25% of their loan forgiven every year. There have only been 11 loans awarded in the past 3 years, compared to more than 200 in the 3 years prior to that rule change.
6:34 right now. There's a proposal at the state capitol that would allow the names of students and parents or guardians to be released in open records request. The State Journal is reporting the proposal would modify the state's list of directory data to include the name of parents and guardians. The provision in the open records law currently allows information like students' addresses or their participation in a sport to be released. The full assembly is set to vote on that proposal next week.
Democratic lawmakers want to see a new state board to jumpstart the state's clean energy economy. Representative Katrina Shankland from Stevens Point introduced that bill. The State Journal reports the bill would create a group authorized to give grants and loans to businesses who produce energy or other products from renewable resources. Representative Shankland says the idea is to help entrepreneurs create new jobs in the clean energy industry.
Habitat for Humanity of Dane County is proposing its biggest project yet. The nonprofit is looking to take 62 acres of land and turn it into 48 houses for families in need. Proximity to childcare, bike paths, transportation, schools, and grocery stores are all considerations in choosing where that project will go up. The houses won't be built until next year, but housing applications are currently being accepted.
All right, 6:35 your time now. A Rastafarian church here in Madison could be evicted from their building later today. We have the details coming up in the morning sprint.
And Wisconsin is continuing to make history this morning with its inaugural Pride Month. Celebrations at the state capitol. Keep watching News 3 Now this morning. Look at him go. Oh, now he's out of there. He is. He's back. Barrett.
Boy, nothing gives me a smile like Barrett the polar bear. This polar bear cam is just golden television.
And Barrett kind of likes that same little path back and forth every morning.
He does. He's getting his reps in. He's got us kind of feeling bad about our workout.
I know. He's up and early at like 4:30 in the morning sometimes too.
You know what? The rest of us will be hitting the pool today because it's supposed to be a pretty humid day. Hattie's got the forecast coming up in a couple of minutes. All right, so we always ask you to share your morning with us, and Heather sent in this gorgeous, gorgeous shot of a sunrise. The pinks and purples in this really pop.
Oh, I love the colors of a sunrise, and they're getting earlier and earlier. Like this morning, we were starting the 4:30 show, and it was already like getting light outside.
You know, we've had a fair bit of rainy mornings, so it's really nice to see these beautiful pictures. Thanks so much for sharing, Heather.
We'd love to get more photos like Heather, so if you've got a photo that you'd like to share of your morning, just send them to us on our social media. Just search for Channel 3000 and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning.
More local news now. Wisconsin is continuing to celebrate Pride Month. State lawmakers who identify as LGBTQ hosted the inaugural Pride Month celebration at the Capitol yesterday. This month is the first time in state history the rainbow pride flag has flown over the Capitol building as a symbol of inclusion. Governor Evers says there's a lot of work to be done still to make sure those in the LGBTQ community are being treated as equals across the state and across the country. Other speakers commented on violence against trans people.
Uplift trans women. Talk to your peers about bullying, threatening, harassment, consent, and assault. Read one of these women's stories. Put a face to a name.
People at the Capitol also recited the names of the 16 trans women of color who have been killed so far in 2019. 4 of those killings happened during Pride Month.
New this morning, UW La Crosse plans to raise the rainbow pride flag on campus. This follows Governor Evers' decision to raise it over the state capitol. The flag will be raised for the rest of June at the Veterans Memorial Monument at the Veterans Memorial Field Sports Complex in honor of LGBTQ Pride Month. This is all happening this morning at 10.
All right, 6:41 your time now. Hattie's keeping an eye on the potential for some storms later today. First, though, just a beautiful start to your Tuesday. Lots of sun out there this morning, a little bit of pink right there. We'll check in with Hattie after the break.
But before we go to break, it is June 18th, and we want to say happy birthday to Everett and all the kids turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us early on News 3 Now this morning.
Look
Bit of a hazy morning out there in Platteville. A little bit of pink trying to shine through that humidity, though, I think.
Yeah, I had a little moisture building on the windshield in the drive-in this morning, something we haven't really felt in a while.
Yeah, ditto. Hattie, a lot of that coming for the extended forecast, though, right?
That's right. We turn the calendar in just a little bit into July. It's the first official day of summer later this week on Friday, and you'll definitely notice a change in the weather pattern as well. Behind me, you see Platteville Skycam. Again, that haziness, the moisture in the atmosphere, not really reflected in visibilities too much. Fog is not a widespread issue. Visibility is around 5 miles in Platteville, and it has improved here in Madison, but southeastern Wisconsin, northeastern Illinois, still dealing with some pretty dense fog this morning. In fact, a dense fog advisory is in effect for the counties in northeastern Illinois until 10 o'clock. No fog advisories, though, for the southern part of our state. Here's a look at the radar map this morning. Been keeping our eye on a few sprinkles or light showers moving through Crawford County. Not making a whole lot of progress to the east as we go through the last couple of hours. And again, I'm not expecting these to hold together too long. Our best chances for rain come a little bit later on. You can see those showers are part of a broken line extending from the UP all the way down into Kansas and Nebraska this morning. It's a weak cold front that will be moving through the area today. As far as severe weather is concerned, we're not expecting any here in southern Wisconsin, but the Central Plains, there is an enhanced risk for severe weather across parts of Oklahoma later on this afternoon. Here's a look at that front and exactly where it is situated this morning, right through the central part of the state. Over the next few hours, it will sink southward, and as it moves through southern Wisconsin later this afternoon and this evening, we may see some scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms pop up. Now, that front doesn't make it too far to the south, so we'll have to keep the rain chances in the forecast as we go through the day on Wednesday, especially for the morning hours. Things should be quieting down for the afternoon. Temperatures are quite mild to the south, 66 in Des Moines, 68 in Omaha, 66 in Springfield. St. Louis is close to 70 right now. We're a little bit cooler here in Madison in the 50s, but there are some spots in southern Wisconsin that are in the 60s this morning. 60 in Platteville, 63 in Prairie du Chien, 62 even in Viroqua. Now, our dew points are going to creep up a little bit today. It's not going to be terribly humid, but you'll notice the humidity. Already a lot of clouds moving into the area. That activity will continue through the morning, so look for mostly cloudy skies with that chance for showers developing after lunchtime. Here's 4 p.m. and you can see some scattered showers across the area. Through the evening, you may see some of those showers or isolated thunderstorms. Then that activity begins to sink a little bit further to the south overnight. Still that threat for rain, though, in the forecast into Wednesday morning. Temperatures are expected to be a little bit cooler on Wednesday. Here's a look at your rain potential. And again, pretty small chances for a lot of precipitation, but you could see up to a ½ inch if you find yourself under one of those thunderstorms. Our extended forecast breaks into more summertime heat and humidity as we head through the weekend into next week. A nice stretch of 80s in that extended forecast.
Oh,
Oscar in Johnson Creek. What a cutie.
He looks like a little teddy bear.
He does.
Know. I think he's actually like laying on one of those massive teddy bears. That's what it kind of looks like.
Buddy.
What a cutie, though. maybe some thunderstorms later on today. I don't know if Oscar's scared of them or not, but.
You know, he looks pretty comfortable. He could probably stay inside
he's
today.
Cute.
All right, Eddie, thank you.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The Morning Sprint is up next on News 3 Now this morning.
6:51, time for the morning sprint as our team gets you caught up on a number of local breaking news stories while you were sleeping.
We start with Keely Arthur, who's following the latest on a high-speed chase overnight. Keely?
Well, you wouldn't know it, but this is where a high-speed chase ended earlier this morning. At around 2 a.m., the chase began. Let's take that video from an exclusive News 3 Now viewer video. The chase started at a Walmart in Monona, continued into Madison down the Beltline. Police also spotted in the area of Post Road and Fish Hatchery Road. The chase ended on Greencrest Court in Fitchburg. And Fitchburg police help with this case, as well as Madison Monona PD taking the lead. We'll keep you updated on this developing story on channel3000.com.
Thank you very much, Keely. More breaking news this morning. A Racine police officer is dead after a shooting while he was off duty overnight. The department says John Hetland was at a bar in Racine when he saw an armed robbery take place. He was shot while trying to intervene and later died. Hetland was a 24-year veteran of the department. Police are still looking for the person responsible.
Janesville police are searching for a woman suspected to be connected to multiple stolen cars. The woman and a man went into Hub Auto in a stolen car and took one of the dealer's cars for a test drive. And police later arrested that man, but they need help finding the woman you see in this picture right here. Anyone who sees her should call the Rock County Communications Center.
President Trump will officially begin his campaign for a second term in the White House later today. He has a campaign kickoff rally scheduled for tonight in Florida. The campaign has reportedly already fired some of its pollsters after internal numbers showing the president trailing Democratic candidate Joe Biden were leaked to the press.
Few showers showing up early this morning west of Madison. Some of that maybe not actually hitting the ground right now. Across the entire area, a little bit later on today, we have a better chance for some showers and isolated thunderstorms. No severe weather is expected, but be prepared for a few showers to pop up after lunchtime today. Temperatures will climb into the upper 70s, though. A little bit warmer today with a high of 77 degrees.
Hattie, thank you. A water line was accidentally breached by a subcontractor from Bear Communications. You'll remember Bear was connected to the downtown Sun Prairie explosion last summer. We're still working to learn the name of the subcontractor that bored into the iron pipe Monday. Madison Water Utility was not on scene to know exactly what went wrong. However, their crews were able to patch things up.
Police in southeastern Wisconsin are investigating the death of a 5-year-old boy who was dropped off at a hospital with gunshot wounds. Kenosha police got a call from hospital staff after 2 people left the boy at the door. The victim's grandfather says his sons were the ones to drop off the little boy and that the shooting was an accident.
A Rastafarian church in Madison could find out today whether they're being evicted from their building. The owner of the building housing the Lion of Judah Church filed for an eviction after the church's founders were arrested on drug charges. That eviction hearing is scheduled for 9:30 this morning.
A new proposal at the state capitol would allow the names of students, parents, or guardians to be released in open records requests. The proposal would modify the state's list of directory data to include the names of parents and guardians. Law currently allows information like students' addresses to be released. The full assembly is set to vote on that proposal next week.
Democratic lawmakers want to see a new state board to jumpstart the state's clean energy economy. Representative Katrina Shanklin from Stevens Point introduced the bill. The bill would create a group authorized to give grants and loans to businesses who produce energy or other products from renewable resources.
Starting later today, you will be able to rent one of 300 e-bikes at B-Cycle stations across the city. The bikes can go up to 17 miles an hour on the electric setting, but you could always turn it off and just ride it like a regular 3-speed bike. B-Cycle executives say they hope it will get more commuters out of the car and onto 2 wheels. Madison's mayor will help unveil the new e-bikes at the Capitol Square today. That event starts at 11 a.m.
Taylor Swift is getting political in the music video for her latest single, You Need to Calm Down. Lyrics in the song command listeners to, quote, show our pride by demanding that on a national level, our laws truly treat all our citizens equally. The Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation has seen an increase in donations since the video's release yesterday.
You can score a free lunch today, and it's all thanks to the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors stole a game on the road during the NBA Finals, so you can now steal a taco from Taco Bell. It's all a part of their NBA Steal a Taco giveaway. You can order that free taco by going online or heading to the restaurant between 2 and 6 today.
All right, just about 6:56. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with a final look at your first alert traffic. Hi, Josh.
Yeah, still moving well on the Beltline, but the westbound side is definitely starting to get busier, especially near the lane shifts at Stoughton Road. Expect some delays within the next 10 minutes or so. Inbound side of John Olin starting to tap the brakes near the Rimrock and Olin Avenue intersections, moving into downtown, but really nothing unusual there. And other main routes heading into the city, they're moving at the usual speeds with no major issues. For your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
All right, Josh, thanks. Have a great day.
And here's a live look from the WISC-TV sky cam. Not a whole lot of a sunrise shot this morning. A few holes in the cloud cover right now. Looks a little hazy though as you look towards the Capitol in the distance. Our fog has dissipated for the most part across southern Wisconsin, but we're still looking at kind of muggy conditions this morning. Temperatures are starting in the 50s and low 60s. We'll already be in the 70s by lunchtime, topping at 77 later on today. Now there is a chance for a few showers or thunderstorms this afternoon and evening, but no severe weather is expected. Overall, kind of an active weather pattern, but we changed things up a little bit. It's been quite some time since we've had 80s in the forecast for any significant stretch. Looks like we'll start a stretch of 80-degree weather on Saturday.
All right, thank you, Hattie. And we have, of course, all of our crews keeping an eye on all those local breaking news stories from across the state today. We'll have all that coming up here in the cut-ins and CBS This Morning. You can also look for those updates on the Channel 3000 mobile app and channel3000.com.
We'll keep an eye on any storms coming this afternoon and throughout the week, as well as any sun you might see. That's on channel3000.com and also on our First Alert weather and traffic app. But thanks for joining us this morning, folks. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.